So tonight is Nathan Morrow on managing a subscription site using Joomla and Membership Pro. I think this is probably one of those topics that we've been talking about in Melbourne, at least for the better part of 4 years, about getting around to, to having a demo done. And so I know that I've spent today configuring a site with Membership Pro without all the knowledge that Nathan's got in his head that he's about to show us. So I'm hoping that this is either going to be a checklist for me to go through tomorrow and review what I've done wrong, or a checklist to show that I've done it right and what else I need to do to get the job finished. So I'll hand over to Nathan and enjoy the conversation.
All right, thanks, Patrick. Okay, so, oops. Oops. All right. Sorry, I was working out the desktop thing.
Hello. Yes. It's all right. Sorry, just testing that audio.
We can hear you now, Jeff. So good. You can talk later now.
So is my correct screen being shared now?
If I want to look at you, yes.
No. Okay.
No, so it's not yet. No.
Sorry, guys. This is my first time doing this part of it. Right.
There you
go. Which screen are you seeing?
We can see your text.
Wrong one then.
Same one again.
Really?
Yeah. There you go.
All right, we'll do that then. It's probably easier. I can't work that out. So now you can see a demo site. No? Yes?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. All right, I'll start that again. Okay, so we're going to have a in-depth look at Membership Pro, as Patrick mentioned. I've basically set up a little demo site where I've set up a couple of subscription plans. So I'm going to go through the setup of those plans and the different options that you can set with each plan. And then we'll go through a mock registration and show the experience from the user side. Okay, so if we're logged into Joomla, like as usual, I'll access Membership Pro from the Components menu. Now I'm going to go straight into subscription plans here because that's the heart and soul of Membership Pro. It's where all the magic happens. So we've got 2 plans we've set up here, 1 year membership and a 6-month membership. We'll have a look at the 1 year membership first and go through the various sections. Okay, so number of tabs across the top. I'm just going to go through the basic information or plan detail first. So the basics are pretty simple. You're looking at your title for your membership plan. You can set up categories in Membership Pro. I'd only recommend doing that if you have lots of plans and a business case for it. Usually most people are only going to have 2 or 3 plans. You've got the price of the plan, and then the all-important subscription length, where you can choose between days, weeks, and months. So there's a fair amount of flexibility there. You can also set an actual expiry date for the subscription plan. Not something you'd normally do with online subscriptions, but I do actually have one website where that's the case, where they end their memberships at 30 June every year. You've also got lifetime memberships as an option. You can set thumbnails for the plan. And then importantly, whether the plan can be renewed or not. There might be instances where you just want to have a one-off plan that doesn't require renewal. For example, if you're selling memberships to an online course, you might only want the person or the people doing the course once, so there's no need for the subscription to be renewed. We've also got a short description section and a long description section. I don't usually use the long description section because it means people have had to click through to the plan detail, which is too many clicks for mine. Over here on the right, we've got recurring settings. Now, I've got this set to no. You would set this to yes if you're using a payment plugin which supports automatic renewals. So that would be Stripe or PayPal, most likely. And so, yeah, if you're going to use those, you need to set that to yes to have it automatically happen. Under that, we've got reminders settings. So Membership Pro lets you send out 3 email reminders. You can specify whether they go out before or after. So you'll see here I've set one to go out 30 days before the membership expires, 7 days, and then one the day after, which is your kind of, we're sorry to see you go, are you sure you don't want to renew email? I won't go through the advanced settings. They're kind of edge case scenarios, except perhaps with the exception of login redirect. So you can specify a particular menu item for subscribers to this plan to be redirected to when they log in. So I guess a member's landing page or the like. Yes, and you also have right down at the bottom some metadata. You can also specify a different term and conditions article to be accepted for each plan. That can also be set globally in the general configuration. One other thing here is the notification emails. This is able to be set globally so that they all go to the same place, but you can set different notification emails for different plans. Okay, move along to the Renew Options tab. So this is where you can set up some other options for the plan. So I've set one up where if I go to renew, I could actually choose to renew for 2 years at a discounted price of $180. You can, obviously, you've got the same period of time options there. We've also got set up over here an early renewal discount. So if someone decides to renew more than 30 days before their expiry date, I'll get a 10% discount. That can be percentage or a fixed dollar discount. Right, moving along, upgrade options. There aren't any upgrade options here, but we'll have a look at the $60 plan where you'll see I've set one up. Okay, email and messages. There are 2 ways of doing emails and messages in Membership Pro. There's a global configuration section where you can set them up for the whole site. But again, you can override the global one and set up different messages, different emails, different messages on a subscription form, and also for the thank you page, all different per plan. So you'll see here subscription form message. If I click on sign up, go through to my subscription form. You see, we've got a little description section here. Enter your details below to join Snaffle today. You can specify your email subject. You can customize the body. There's different ones for offline payments. There's admin emails. There's a thank you message, which is what appears after you've completed payment and finished your subscription. You'll see that when I go through and do a test subscription in a little bit. And there's a few others that I won't get into because there's just too many options to go through in 35 to 40 minutes. We've got reminder messages, which relates to the 3 options I said earlier. So you've got 2 reminders to say your subscription's about to expire, and then you can do the 3rd one where you're saying, please don't leave us, sign up again. Now I'm going to jump tabs here to the Joomla Group setting, because this is probably the part of Membership Pro that I get most excited about, is its ability to integrate with Joomla's users and groups. And it's epically simple. Basically, once you've set up your Joomla groups and access levels, you've got options to assign them to the group when the membership becomes active, and also to remove them from the group when it expires. You can have multiple plans going to all sorts of different groups, so you could build some quite complex membership-based websites using this kind of feature. And likewise, you can also assign them to groups when they expire and remove when they subscribe. So I've set up a members group. I've also set up a sort of mock forum where we've got a members category. So when we go through and do a mock subscription, you'll see that I automatically have access to those things once I've finished my subscription. We'll go back here to AC Mailing settings. For those of you who don't know, AC Mailing is a newsletter subscription software for Joomla, where again, I've set up a members list, which you get subscribed to when you pay for or complete your membership, and that you can get removed from when your membership expires. There's also a MailChimp plugin for Membership Pro that does the same thing. Okay, we'll just have a quick mention of PHP Script Settings. This is probably one more for the developers, but I know Patrick had cause to use this the other day. It basically extends the possibilities with Membership Pro quite a lot, in that you can run custom PHP codes or scripts on subscription becoming active or expiring. In Patrick's case, he was trying to integrate with a learning management system called Joomla LMS, so was able to basically create a new student record in the LMS via the PHP script options. The last one I've got enabled here is eShop. So eShop is a shopping cart system from the same developers as Membership Pro. I didn't actually get around to setting up a members group, but if I had, I could also have a members shoppers group, which they would automatically get access to and then get whatever discounts were set up for that shopper group. Okay. I'll just have a quick look at the 6-month membership so you can see the upgrade options. So you see here with the 6-month membership, I've set up a option to upgrade to the 1-year membership, $50 published. You can also offer upgrades pro rata by time or by price, with a couple of other variations for the duration. So that's kind of useful if you're trying to upsell different memberships to your base membership that you're trying to sell for your website. I might just now do a test membership from the front end. First of all, I'll just show you over on our little test forums under categories. I've just got an uncategorized category. You'll see once I visit here after purchasing the subscription, there'll be a members one that I automatically have access to. Just bear with me while I fill this part out. Oops. So I've just set up eWay on a test gateway mode, because just to demonstrate an actual purpose seemed to be the easiest way to do it. So you'll see here is my little thank you message for subscribing. Let's join SAFL, log in and head over to the members forum. So we'll head over to the members forum and see what's happening there. If we go to categories, hopefully, I've now got a members forum, which I can go into and add new posts, but we're not demonstrating the forums, we're demonstrating memberships. But you can see there how the integration with the Joomla ACL has made it really easy to provide a members only section of the forum, which I automatically get access to as soon as I've subscribed. I'll go through some options, some settings in the configuration area that make that happen, just after we've had a bit more of a look here. I've put in a link to your account, which is the Membership Pro's default your profile page, where members can update all their information, including username and password. They can also renew their membership, see a record of previous subscriptions and their current subscriptions, subscription history. There are also some other things in Membership Pro you can enable, such as a membership card, which is like a PDF membership card that is available in here for download, depending on which subscription they've purchased a membership for. And I might just do one more as the 6 month to show you the upgrade options and how they appear. Oops, forgot a field. Okay, so this one's got a different thank you page where I didn't add in the message about linking through to the forums. But when I go there, I will still have access because I did just duplicate the plans. Just to show that you can have different thank you pages for different plans. So you can also have different call to actions for people who've subscribed to those plans, whether that be to go to the forums or submit an article or browse the blogs or whatever that might be. So if we go to your account for the 6 month membership, I also now have an option to upgrade my membership as well as renew to the 1 year plan. Right, I might just have, we'll just have a quick look at the configuration area because there's some areas in here which are important to getting it set up the way I've done it. Okay. One thing I want to mention is if you are trying to set up a community-based site, you can enable profile avatars for subscribers. There's also a members list, much like there is for Community Builder and other systems like that, where you can have a list of active members. The key one that I always enable is auto login. You know, I guess this depends on whether you have a website that requires activation, but for the smoothest user experience when running a membership site, I'd highly recommend having it on auto login and no activation, because it's basically a one-step process to purchase your membership and immediately get access to all of the areas of the website that you're meant to have access to. You can also show the login box on subscription. If I go back now, we have an existing user, please log in section. Yes, and the other important part in here is the subscription renewal behavior. When Membership Pro was first released, the default behavior, and it's still the default behavior, is to create a new subscription when someone renews, rather than extending their existing subscription by another 12 months. So the first thing I do is to come in and change the renewal behavior so that it updates the subscription, which extends it rather than just creates a fresh one. Yeah, mail settings down the bottom left are pretty important to make sure that your notifications and invoices, etc., are going out. If you're having problems with that, a good thing to turn on is to log emails. There's a section, which I'll get out of here in a second. There's an area where you can see all the emails that have been sent out and who they've been sent to, so you can track that at least they're leaving the system. There's some theme setting options. Membership Pro is written with Twitter Bootstrap out of the box. You can disable that if you're not using it at all, but you'll then have to do your own styles. It does have support out of the box though for versions 2, 3, and 4 of Twitter Bootstrap, together with UI Kit 3, which I think is support for the U theme templates. And you've also got your date settings, which are pretty important to get them the right way around, which I didn't. Yeah, I just paid US dollars, I got ripped off. So yeah, all your basic currency date kind of settings. It's got support for GDPR out of the box, show privacy policy checkbox. There are some other settings, and there's a specific plugin related to that as well. Okay. Oh yes, and that's also where you might set a default terms and conditions article that people have to accept when they purchase their registration. There's quite a few more plugins available for Membership Pro that I haven't enabled that allow you to restrict access to content. There's also a scheduled content plugin, which allows you to make content available at set periods after the membership has been purchased. So you know, every week they could get access to a new article. I've actually used that just recently in a website that's a course-based website where you get access to the article every week. They get an email to let them know that that's available, so it's a kind of useful plugin as well. I haven't enabled them all though, because it also gets a bit busy in here when you've got about 30 tabs loaded. But yeah, there are a lot of different layout options available for Membership Pro, which I haven't set all up on my demo site, but I might just quickly show you on their demo site. This is your default layout for plans, lovely red color there. There's a columns layout. And then there's the one I used in my demo, which is the pricing table layout, got flat. And there's a circle version, which is the one I've got going. Yes, I think that's about all I was actually going to cover. That's kind of the basic of the setup of the subscriptions. we'll just show the subscriber management area. This is where you can view each of the subscriptions that have been purchased on your site. Go in and view them. Tells you information about whether reminders have been sent and your payment information. You're also able to, you can also export all of your subscriptions to a CSV file for opening an accounts program or whatever else you might want to use it in. There's also coupons and discounts like most shopping carts. There's a system for auto-generating multiple coupons. So if you've got sort of 100 of them that you need to set up, you can auto run that through. I think that's, yeah, the plugin somewhere. But yeah, that's about it, I think, in terms of the setup of plans and subscribers. Okay. Do we have questions?
It's Toby here. I've got a question. We use Membership Pro on our site. We have organisational subscriptions. We deal with organisations that are financial services licensees, and we've been unable to think of a way of company X becomes a subscriber. We've been unable to think of a way of extending their subscription privileges to the people in that organisation.
Have you looked at the
as
group?
You touched on groups, I wondered whether that might be a...
There is a group registration feature available in Membership Pro. Have you had a look at that? So,
yeah.
So you are able to so you can actually have group subscriptions so that more than one user can be subscribed at once. I have to admit that's not a setup I've actually done for anybody. I think I may have heard about your setup though from Patrick, perhaps.
No, that's a new one for me.
No?
Yeah.
Maybe it was Nikki.
It might be Nikki, yeah. So have you... so you've got people that have got or explain a bit more how it works, Tony. So...
so imagine imagine that we've got Manly Financial Planning, for example, is a subscriber, and they've got 12 people who work for them. So we've said, if you're a subscriber, for example, and we run an events, because we essentially run events, if you're a subscriber, we'll give you a discount to attend one of our events. Now we want to extend that discount effectively to the 12 people who are in that organisation.
And so
we don't have individual subscribers.
But those 12 people have a login to the website as part of the subscription, or?
Well, they don't at the moment. That's that has been one of our challenges.
The sticking points there.
Yeah, so they don't currently have a user account, is that right?
That's right. They don't currently have an individual user account on the site.
So you don't want to be able to just have them have a global login for each organisation?
Well, that is one way of doing it, but practically some of those organisations are, for example, Westpac. So apart,
fair enough. That's probably not going to work there.
Yeah.
Could you do something to do with IPs?
IP authentication, perhaps? Yeah, that's not a bad suggestion.
And I've got a similar scenario at the moment. So The site that I've been working on at the moment is they've got a series of courses, and those courses, one of the courses, if they subscribe to the whole thing, he's setting it up so that he'll sell the course to a company, and then they'll need to create other logins. So to get around how they all subscribe, the company's going to be given a coupon code, and the coupon code basically lets the person subscribe to the plan, but at zero cost. So they'll get a once-off coupon to set up their access, and then that gives them all the other part of the process.
So it does actually support group membership, kind of what you're talking about, I think, but you're still essentially going to have separate user accounts. So here where it says you allow one person, group admin, to subscribe for a group membership plan. They can then add members, manage subscriptions for the whole group. So designed for offering memberships for a whole company organisation. But someone is still going to have to be responsible for adding those members.
Yeah. Actually, just to touch on that coupon thing for a minute, the one thing which is unique about each organisation is they have an AFSL number. So those AFSL numbers are unique. If you're in Manly Financial Planning, your AFSL number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it doesn't change. So a way of tying a coupon. So without, we're a very small organisation. Nearly half of us are on this call. Is there a way of tying of expiring a coupon if the subscription is of making a coupon only valid for a subscription period?
Yeah, so I've just got the coupons on the screen here, and you've got the code, the amount of the discount, the number of times. You can limit how often it's used. So if there was only 12 people, then you can say only use it 12 times, and then valid from and valid to dates. So
you can actually restrict it to a particular user if you really want to.
Yeah.
It can also be assigned to a group.
Maybe that's the right way for us to sort of send our primary contact the coupon to say anybody who wants to register, use this, and you effectively become a free subscriber.
Yeah. And you could also create a plan that identifies them by putting them into that group as well.
That's what I was thinking, because you need to expire them all simultaneously.
Because I'm just looking at that. Can you? I don't know that you can. Oh yeah, sorry, you can. Yeah, so you can apply a coupon to a specific plan. So that way, you could set up a special plan just for that organisation. And then that's what I
was thinking.
Yeah. So.
There's one other thing I was going to mention, which I couldn't really show. Something that I don't think I've seen in too many other Joomla components. From a developer point of view, you're not just limited to overriding templates. You can actually override helper and model files as well. And pretty much that's how they also do their customization. So if you go back to Joomla Donation and want a customization done, they'll essentially create an override of their model or helper file or controller file, depending on which one it needs to be. So for example, recently I've been working on a site that's selling a pregnancy course. And the content's to be delivered every week of the pregnancy, but counting back from the due date. So they have a scheduled content plugin, which I think I mentioned, that can release content every 7 days, which was all well and good, except I needed it to count back from a custom field date. So I went back to Joomla Donation to Joanne and said, hey, what can you do for me here? And yeah, they basically did an override of the scheduled content plugin file, modified it to count back from the custom field date. So there's a lot of flexibility in terms of how much it can be customized. You can essentially, a developer can write their own functions to hook into the system.
Cool. Sorry, I just found that.
Nathan.
Yep.
Nathan, the custom fields in the membership product, do they apply to your subscription plans, or to the individual subscriptions, or to the subscribers or groups, or what? Yeah, what's their scope within the system?
Custom fields can be global, or they can be assigned per plan.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't go through custom fields too much at all. Another good thing about the custom fields is there also can be fee calculation fields. So, for example, if you want to sell something else at the same time as your subscription, I've got one association website where they sell copyright insurance. It's an optional extra with the subscription. So you can basically create a fee calculation fee that, if checked, adds $30 onto the subscription price.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's essentially here where you've got plan, select which one it's to apply to, or all plans.
Screen.
Sorry?
Switch your screen. Show us.
Oh, yeah, that'll help, won't it?
It's the little green button down the bottom. Share screen. There you go.
Yeah, you're an expert at this, Rusty.
Yes, I've done it once.
Yeah, well, it's one more than me, so yeah.
No, yeah, learn on the job.
Let's sell a t-shirt.
Yep.
But yeah, so you can choose the plans up here. There's also an option in general configuration to make this selection based on category rather than per plan. Could be a scenario where if you've got a lot of plans and categories, it makes more sense to do that. Field type. What do we want? There you go. So a very simple fee field here. I'm just creating a t-shirt field that'll be on all plans. It'll add $15 onto the subscription. You can also do formulas, and based on other fields, you can get quite complicated with the calculations if you want to. Custom fields also support dependencies, so only display if something else is selected on a previous field. So conditional fields, if you like. You can also, interesting little feature is you can make selection of a field automatically assign someone to an additional group in Joomla as well. And also modify subscription duration. So there's quite a lot of flexibility around that kind of thing. Go back to here.
Indeed.
T-shirt option down here. Boom. Price is now 115. Away we go. So yeah, there's quite a lot you can do with the custom field side of things. I should have gone through that in a bit more detail.
Nathan,
yep.
The guys are wondering if you put -15, will they give you $15 off?
It will indeed. Yeah, no, absolutely it will. And I've had a couple of situations where something like that's been done, where somebody was just relying on someone answering a question honestly. Are you under 25 or something like that? And I was like, are you for real? But yeah, they did actually use it for subtracting $15. So, yeah.
Very good.
There's also even an SQL field, which I assume means that you can run additional SQL queries behind the scenes while things are happening. I've never gone there or had a look, but yeah, there's a few different. You can add custom text or headings as well, date fields. You know, it's pretty much the whole gamut.
Hmm.
And you can
That's
also
a custom field. How do they select that custom field to drive some SQL?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's interesting and weird. You can have all sorts of havoc with that.
Yeah, you probably could, Russell.
Oh, you could promote a user to, maybe super user on the system if they pay $999.
For sure. Yeah, I can't imagine what you would use the SQL field. I think the PHP Scripts plugin is really useful in terms of being able to connect to other things that there isn't an out-of-the-box plugin for.
You'd want to restrict access to that facility. You'd want to be careful who could define those fields.
Well, yes, you would.
You'd have to put that into the ACL somewhere in the back end, I think.
Yeah, you can. It has full support for ACL, so I think you can lock it down pretty solidly in that regard. I've set it up for some customers where they just have access to subscriptions, basically. They can't see the plans or any of the setup information.
Mm.
Hey, Nathan, what's one thing that you would like it to do that it doesn't do?
Probably lots of things, actually, Stuart.
One key thing, one thing that really drives you a bit, like would.
Well, one thing that has annoyed me is the lack of a single page subscription form. So instead of, having to go through a kind of, select your plan to get to the sign up form, a sign up form where you could just select your plan from a drop down list. So sort of a one page way of being able to register and sign or select your plan at the same time. And that used to annoy me, but I actually got him to do a customization a little while ago for their other product called Payment Form that allows me to map selections in a payment form field to membership groups in Membership Pro, to subscription plans in Membership Pro, which means that I could theoretically now set up with Payment Form a single page subscription form that used all the plans that were set up in Membership Pro. Other than that, I don't have anything that really annoys me about it. It's more of been a case of where I've had a customer with a particular use case that's not being met by the product. And frankly, I've had a 100% success rate with going back to Joanne and Jim Donation and having them do customizations to get around those, a number of which have ended up being incorporated in the core product. Probably my one main beef is having to customize the Vietnamese English language interpretations every time I do an install. But I could probably help out and fix that for them.
I have a question.
Yep.
My question is, so we're talking about Membership Pro, and I suppose in the past there has been a few different other membership systems that were available for Joomla, and maybe they don't necessarily, a lot of them sort of don't exist anymore or not necessarily as supported as they are. So is part of using Membership Pro the fact that it's sort of the Stephen Bradbury of Joomla membership systems, in that it's a good system, but also it's endured where others have failed? Do you get what I'm asking there?
I mean, there's still some other ones around. RS Form memberships, I'm sure Russell would extol the virtues of.
I use that one.
Yeah, I've not used that extensively, but I mean, they make pretty good kits, so I'd imagine it's a fairly solid product as well. There's one called Pay Plans that's been taken over by Stack Ideas in the last couple of years. I used to use AEC back in the day, Account Expiration Control, very snappy name. And I came to Membership Pro because, you know, basically the support from that had dropped off completely and I needed to move a couple of clients away from it. At that time, RS form or the RS memberships wasn't a product. I had a look at Pay Plans, which was owned by different developers at the time who quoted me $2,500 to do a migration from AEC. US, thank you very much. I then stumbled across Membership Pro, just can't even actually remember how, and then was looking at it and went, oh, migration tools. Oh, free migration from AEC. I'm in. So, you know, they basically have a tool which they've had there for ages, which, you know, and I had a very large AEC subscriber database, about 2,500 subscribers, and it just went through and motored through it and popped them all in, and it was quite seamless. And I was kind of like, okay, well, that's saved my bacon there. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I suppose the other thing too is that you have said more than once that sort of the developer is amenable to doing things that get you over the line, and I suppose the other products that they support sort of make a reasonable set of products.
Yeah, that's right. And they all integrate fairly well together. It's another selling point for them. Yeah, I mean, I do use them on quite a lot of the sites I build. I just seem to have ended up doing a lot of membership-based sites in recent times. I like their event booking software as well. I think it's quite neat. Just does what it needs to do. Yeah, it's probably. Yeah, I think so. I really do appreciate the effort they go to you know, get you over the line. As you say, Jared, there's been, you know, a couple of occasions where I've gone, oh shit, what have I told the client we can do? And then I've had to go to Tuan and say, hey buddy, can you help me out? And, you know, and they're certainly very reasonable, I think, when it comes to what they charge for customization.
And those type of things are a classic thing that happens with membership organizations, because they generally fit closely into some sort of plan where they need to have members and do it a certain thing, but they always have their one thing that they do in their special magic way that they want it to do that isn't exactly like everybody else.
Yeah, rather than actually modify their membership system or processes to work with the system, they force it to bend the other way. It's always fun. There's one of the sites I have is a celebrant association, and they're the ones who insist that their membership has to end at 30 June every year. But they don't want to offer a pro rata membership, you know, so that if someone joins with 6 months to go, so it's not actually exactly pro rata, it's they want to change the price. It took me quite a while to work out how to get them to deal with that, and eventually it was with a coupon set as default, so that when we want to reduce the price, we just do that, you know. But I was kind of like, that's not how subscriptions work, you know. It's usually for a period, you know. You subscribe for a year. She's like, oh no, they must end on the 30th of June because that's when our insurance and copyright insurance goes up to. So I can understand that it's part of their business process, but it's not really how subscription systems, you know, are designed to work.
Hey, Nathan, I've got a quick one for you.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed on your demo you're using eWay as a payment plugin gateway. Is that your preferred payment method? It just so happens that was what you set up.
Main reason for that was it was easy to set up in demo mode.
Yeah, fair enough.
You don't need a Stripe key or anything like that. Mostly I send people to Stripe these days, frankly.
Okay.
eWay is supported, but you can't do sort of recurring subscriptions with their eWay plugin. if you want to do automatic renewals, you'll need to use Stripe or PayPal.
Okay.
And they've put a lot of effort into the integration with Stripe. So it's the whole, one field. Here you go, I'll show you. So it's basically just the one field, you don't need to put in.
Oh.
Yeah, so you don't
nice.
need. Yeah, so it's the Stripe hosted payment plugin integration.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like. Oh, that's a good one to think about. Okay.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was the pregnancy website with the whole due date thing. It's a nightmare.
Fair enough.
We've done quite a bit of Stripe stuff recently compared to, say, eWay and other things we've done in the past. And we find one of the hardest things with Stripe is to get the client to log into their account to give you the key.
I just insist they make me an admin. I don't mess around
just
with that.
trying to get that key off them at the start. Once you get that, you're fine. But just sort of talking somebody through that once you get that past there, you're pretty much home and hose.
I talk them through over TeamViewer and then just get them to make me an admin straight away. I'm not messing around with that.
I've done the reverse. I tend to create their account, make them the owner on their account, and then drop my privileges back.
All good? Martin, finger raised.
Unmute. That was what I had to remember. You mentioned just a few minutes ago about integration with their other products. Do you know if there's a way that you can list a membership subscription within eShop as a purchasable product?
I know that you can subscribe. Yes. Well, there is a plugin that lets you add someone to a Membership Pro subscription plan when purchasing a product in eShop.
Okay, so you could set up a product in eShop called a subscription, which isn't really pseudo, and then drop them into a.
Yeah, there you go. eShop Membership Pro plans plugin.
Okay.
This plugin is used to add customers as subscriber of plans when they purchase products.
Right.
So
Okay.
you just create a product. So if this was enabled in your product setup in eShop, you would no doubt have. So we've got a Membership Pro plans tab. So then you would just call it 1 year membership, $100. Yep. Bit of bang, bit of boom.
Aha. Excellent. Okay. I must have missed that plugin somewhere. All right. Thanks, mate.
No worries, done. There's a lot of plugins for all of their kit, pretty much.
Yes, there is. There is. And for some of them, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that some of them, it depends. Like this one, the plugin may have been under eShop, not under Membership Pro, or it's under Membership Pro. Not, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there's both. There's a Membership Pro plugin for eShop, which lets you assign people to customer groups, and there's an eShop plugin for Membership Pro, which lets you assign people to plans.
Yeah. Okay. Good. That's a good one. I can go back to a client and sell them something new now.
I think likewise with event booking, there's similar things as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right.
Hey Nathan, quick question for you on migrations from other customer relationship management software and the payment systems. Have you had any issues with PayPal and the recurring memberships after the migration, where they're still trying to contact the old server?
Not that I'm aware of. Generally, when I have had problems like that, it's related to the IPN not being set up correctly in PayPal. But yeah, as far as I know, there's no issues, like provided that the recurring payments are set up correctly in Membership Pro, they should work fine with the PayPal recurring plugin. I know that those are the two plugins they support for recurring payments, are PayPal and Stripe.
Yeah, we've run into an issue with the previous recurring payments that were set up before the migration. After the migration, it's still trying to contact the old server for some reason.
Contact the old server?
Well, it's the confirmation that they've made the payment, or that they pulled the payment out their card from PayPal, confirmation from PayPal back to the server.
Yeah, I think you'll find that's a PayPal issue, in that when those recurring subscriptions are set up, they are then removed from the system that's created them. So they live at PayPal. So to be modified, they have to be modified through PayPal. I had a similar issue with Membership Pro and Stripe, where I had a customer who had set up the auto renewing plans through Stripe. Then they wanted to change. They wanted to change the price of the membership plan, which doesn't automatically update the existing subscribers in Stripe, because similar to PayPal, once their subscription is set up, it actually lives in Stripe when it's an auto renewal.
Yeah.
So they actually have modified, made an adjustment to Membership Pro as configuration option to basically have it update when you change the prices in the gateway, but that still won't actually update existing subscriptions. I've been talking to them. Again, this is what Tuan's like. I mentioned this problem to him and he was like, oh, we could probably look at writing a script to, mass update via the API and Stripe.
Thanks.
No worries. Sorry, I don't have a better solution for that one.
Just a big thorn in the back.
Oh, yeah, wrong software. Run out?
It's certainly one of those systems where you've really got to work out what you want to do as your business case before you jump into it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's really flexible, but it's, it depends on what you're trying to do in terms of how you go about setting it up.
Yeah. So, and once
well, it's actually, I was just going to say, it's actually sort of difficult to set up a demo of it, because you're kind of like, well, what's my membership solution that I'm trying to solve here, or my problem?
Yeah. And in the stuff you've gone through, there's nothing there that doesn't, like, each of the features I'm looking at for the other 4 sites that I've got to build at the moment are all have like come to the surface. But again, it's all that particular aspect tied with one that you did 5 minutes earlier, tied with one that you did at the start, and things like that. So, so it makes it quite interesting. But that the where you point out the script part, that's certainly quite powerful. And with the Joomla LMS stuff, once I worked out what the code needed to do, I think it's like it's about 30 lines that are sort of replicated to each plan. And then there's an array line that I have to update that is which courses in Joomla LMS that plan triggers. So now effectively what I've got is you sign up to a plan and it subscribes you to the course for whatever length of time. and then at the end of the period, when your subscription expires, it also wipes your access to the course instantly. And so then they need to re-expire to get, renew their re-enroll to get back to getting the course again. So so I think, yeah, finally, all I've got to do at the second is link up now all the menu items I've created for the plan shortcuts to the buttons on the sales pages, and then test it, and it should be able to go from a landing page to one click to subscribe to the course on the registration page, and then they're straight into the course at the end of that. So yeah, you'll be getting a preview link to that tomorrow to tell you what I've done. So you'll be playing with
Russell Terry has just pointed out the SQL field allows you to provide a dynamic drop-down list of values in a column field table. So people can only select the value list that already exists. So for consistency of data. You're muted.
So that implies that the SQL only runs a select and gets back a bunch of values.
Yeah, I would think so.
Just
Terry's
so long as it doesn't
that.
run any updates or inserts, that would be fabulous.
No, you probably wouldn't want that. No.
I was just thinking, with Patrick talking about his issues with the LMS, so that the key action really is for a subscription to turn on a whole bunch of enrolments in a set of courses, or it may be a faculty thing or something like that in LMS. Yeah, it sounds like it should be a job for a REST API if the LMS had something like that. If you could just issue a URL call from RS membership.
Yeah. So because it's Joomla LMS, it's it doesn't have those type of functions to it. It's got. Sorry, someone's just sent me a message on something that's cringeworthy. So the way that it's set up is that it would, ideally, have an API. So if you're going to Moodle or something like that, you could do a push into Moodle with an API to do that access level. But the reason I've ended up using Membership Pro to do the subscriptions is that Joomla LMS actually has its own subscription configuration built into it. But it's far from flexible. So so I think in the way that they had it set up when I got my hands on the job, there's 21 subscriptions in the final configuration. But what would happen was, as soon as you went to select a course, it would show you every single one of the variations for that course, which then was far too much information. So any one of the 5 courses is in up to 8 different plans. And so you'd have 8 different options on the screen, and it was all text and just horrible. Whereas now it's got sales tables that are set up, and every landing page takes care of a particular pain point that the courses address. And so that way, if you come into an ad or through an ad to that landing page, you're only presented the courses that fix that pain point. And so then it's a much clearer process. So I'll know in a month how well it all works. So.
Good luck.
Thanks. Cool. All right. So thank you, Nathan. I hope that everyone else got as much out of it as I've been expecting to for ages. So
good stuff. Good stuff, Nathan.
Yes, thanks, guys.
Thank you all.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Nathan.
Thanks, Nathan.
Thanks, Nathan.
Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Nathan.
Good luck.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Nathan.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks, guys.
Good demo.